Here's another show you can enjoy in the True Story FM family of entertainment podcasts.
Hey, movie lovers, I'm Pete Wright.
And I'm Andy Nelson. We are the hosts of the Next Reel Film Podcast.
If you're passionate about films like we are, you'll love our show. Each week, we dive deep into a movie, discussing everything from the story and performances to the cinematography and score.
Not to mention budgets and awards. We have covered iconic series like Francis Ford Coppola's The Godfather trilogy, examining themes of power, family, and the dark side of the American dream.
We've explored the works of groundbreaking directors like Catherine Bigelow, discussing her mastery of tension.
We've looked at heist films, great car chases, great years in film, couples on the run, and more.
Our discussions go beyond the surface, examining what makes each film tick. We believe that when the movie ends, the conversation begins.
And we'd love for you to join that conversation. Find the Next Reel Film Podcast on your favorite podcast app or at thenextreel.com.
The Next Reel. When the movie ends,
our conversation begins.
Oh, there you are. I was hoping you'd make it. Come in, sit down. Welcome to the Story Well. If you found your way here, then here is where you belong. And joining us at the table once again, fresh from the Thousand Acre Woods, it's Mr. Rob Kubasko.
Oh, I almost forgot. And as soon as you said that, all the memories of the soulful journey of Pooh and his friends. Wow, that was a weird trip, wasn't it?
Oh, the
Thousand Acre Wood
journey that we ended up taking to get us there. Yeah,
yes.
I know, but I still think it's one of the best too because.
Oh well, thank you.
You know, it was the challenge was that it was a public domain character, and it went in a completely different direction. And now I still see it in my head as if I've seen the trailer for it, and I'm just waiting for it to come out.
Well, now there are better AI tools that can make that trailer a reality. I'm sure we can.
That's true. That's true. I don't see any downside to that at all.
No, we'll see. But I'm glad to be back. I'm excited.
I'm glad to have you. So as we are both children of the 80s.
Yes.
And we are in a period of sequels, requels, reimaginings, revisiting and stuff too. Is there any corner of of your history of something that you saw when you were younger that you think deserves a chance to come back? I mean, obviously we have plenty of G.I. Joe, we have plenty of Transformers, all those things. Is there anything that you can think of from the time, maybe even that wasn't done well, that could be done better? Like when we were younger, we had Battlestar Galactica, which was not great. But then in the 2000s, they brought it back and it became great. Do you think there's anything out there that people have written off that you think could be brought back in a way that modern audiences would get into?
So I can't tell you. Okay, so literally as you're saying this, all that kept coming into my head was Facts of Life. And that seems
interesting.
No,
okay.
that's
not where I thought you were going.
I'm not suggesting that at all.
I mean, you take the good, you take the bad.
You take them both.
Well, there you have the Facts of Life.
Well, there you have it. We have to find out who the new Mrs. Garrett would be. Okay, no, wait. And I don't know why that did. As soon as you said that, like, I'm thinking all this stuff of the 80s, but I'm like,
that's interesting.
What gave me nice, warm, and fuzzies? I'm going to be honest with you. It was the Facts of Life.
Yeah. I am actually in a period right now where I'm watching a lot of those sort of classic things because I wanted to go back to when storytelling was simpler.
Oh, sure.
And to see if is it corny now. And so I have been actually watching a lot of Benson. Benson was another period from right in that time period. And you know what? It holds up.
Oh,
it's a 5-character sitcom with 3 locations, and yet they managed to get 100 episodes out of it. And it's kind of amazing to me just to watch from a storytelling perspective of like, it's the same people. Like they even every 2 or 3 episodes, they bring one person in as like a foil and out, but the rest of it is just about them. And we have sort of gotten so far away from that in the modern stuff. I kind of wanted to see that it's sold up, and like the storytelling there is still strong. So I think a lot of those things are really based on strong storytelling, even though sometimes the humor maybe didn't age incredibly well.
Okay, wait. So this is all right. So just a small tangent.
Yeah.
Robert Guillaume.
amazing.
Amazing.
Yeah.
And that whole cast.
He was the master of the mutter. Like he could just quietly say something off to the side and it would devastate you.
And that's the spinoff from Soap, or Soap?
It is.
It's the spinoff from Soap.
Yeah, I've forgotten that it was a direct spinoff because in the first episode, they talk about Jessica, who Benson worked for in Soap, and then in like the 8th episode, she comes to the governor's mansion because she's friends with the governor. So it literally is in the same universe as Soap.
Okay, wait, that's amazing. Okay, wow, this is where my head is today.
Right.
So I'm thinking of all those shows that existed like in one room.
Yeah.
Right. So like Welcome Back, Kotter never leaves the classroom.
Right. Goes in the hallway. And then his apartment. So those are your three sets.
Yeah, see? Three sets. That's all you got.
Right. Because that's usually how a soundstage is built. So the studio audience can see all three sets.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. So here's what I'd come back to.
Okay.
What is ripe for the reboot? And I know this maybe seems like low hanging fruit. It's Buck Rogers.
Okay.
Because if you think about if you're a person of a certain age, Buck Rogers takes up just as much mind share from that time as almost anything else. And what's amazing to me about Buck Rogers is that that's all based pretty much on one season of television. It was a long season because the second season's horrible.
Right. And then it goes away. It's
maybe
almost similar to the 60s Batman too. First season phenomenal, and then it very quickly drops and disappears.
Is that when like King Tut or like the...
Yeah, it starts to get... I mean, they did bring
Nothing's
Batgirl.
wrong with King Tut, by the way. No,
Egghead, you know.
Yeah, Egghead, sure.
When they brought in Batgirl, and you thought that would be enough, but then all of a sudden it goes away. So yeah, it's the same. It actually, Star Trek originally followed that same kind of format too. By the time you get to the third season, getting a little thin.
I think the crazy... Okay, we are. We're really... This is
right,
the opening.
Okay, so go back to Buck. So Buck Rogers. Tell me why Buck Rogers? Why now?
Because that show captured imagination incredibly well. The idea of sort of an older idiocracy, the time traveler of time.
It's a Connecticut
space.
Yankee in King Arthur's court.
Exactly.
Just space.
Exactly. So you have that, which is an excellent story, and you have incredibly great relationships. So I'm not talking just about the sexual tension between Buck and Wilma, right? But like, Dr. Hewer and Tweaky and just Dr. Theophilus.
What was the Hawk? Is it Hawk?
Well, it's Hawk. Yeah, Hawk.
Is it Hawk? Okay, I couldn't remember because I know that like Spencer for Hire also had Hawk.
Yeah,
a man called Hawk.
Oh no,
the spinoff of that one. It was Hawk, right?
I want to say that
because that
I might have to check that.
This is the irony of this is that was my favorite character in it too. Like Buck Rogers was great, but like that sort of not quite the same moral. Like he was a little bit tougher, a little bit more devious. Like that was and he had a really cool ship.
He had a cool ship. He had a cool outfit. The whole musculature. He had a Batman and Robin Batman Forever suit before those movies even existed, and the feathers on
the head. Yeah,
oh, come on. So here's the deal. I love that show. I love that mystery. I love exploring and seeing what the future would have been like. But the relationships were always number one. And you had, if I remember that first season well, you had great recurring villains, and then you had the great villain of the week too that would happen. And I just love that. I love the style of the ships, which still, unlike many other things we've ever seen, loved the way that robots and technology played a role in it. It just what could have been, because there's only one season.
Would you if you had the chance, if you were show running this, would you have it be episode of the week, or would you try and do sort of the modern style? That I would say Babylon 5 introduced to the story arc. Like, would you have 10 episodes telling like a continuous story and like different things happening, or would you have it be like bad guy shows up, Buck defeats him, the end, and then you just move on?
I don't know. You really?
How retro do you want to go with your sort of retro?
Well,
throwback?
but there were. So you're saying were you saying that Buck Rogers those seasons were story of the week?
Yeah. Yeah, like the A-Team, like any of those things where it's like a new problem, a new mission happens. I think so.
With the occasional Colonel Decker flying in.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, right. So you have a little bit of reminder.
a little bit of the people would, like you say, there are recurring villains, so people would come back. But like most of the things, there's the reset button because it was designed for people who would only catch every third or fourth episode.
I would do the villain of the week, show of the week, because then it's accessible. It's more accessible at any time. Somebody comes in, and then hopefully, again, if you tell a good story, good characters and their relationships, that's fine.
Where would you pull Buck from? So let's say that's not like, it doesn't have to be from 2024 when we're recording this. Okay. What time period would you pull Buck from? And then, as it goes into the 25th century, Like, would he be a man of the 1950s? Would he be a man of the 1850s?
No, you know what?
Or is he just, the modern 2024 gentleman?
No, I got to tell you, if I would take him from probably 1984, 1985.
Okay. All right.
And here's why. Because we all know that time.
Yeah.
There is an innocence that exists then that goes away quickly, decade after that. Yeah. And I would love to have that motivation, that joy that comes from what the 80s were, and then put that into some post-apocalyptic.
Okay.
I don't know.
That's it. So that would be my next question. Sure. Is then how does Buck find the so here there's our Buck Rogers in his members only jacket, playing with a Rubik's Cube, wearing unlaced Nikes and parachute pants.
Yes, some quarters in his pocket for the arcade.
Right, exactly.
Yes, okay.
And Ray-Ban sunglasses.
Yes.
Which are timeless. And so what is the future that he would find himself in? You said post-apocalyptic. So are you thinking like things are bad, or do you think it's more of things are much better?
No, things are much better. 500. We're going to go with the 500 years?
Sure.
Okay, so we go with the 500 years. 2480, is that what we're saying?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, okay. I would hope we figured some things out at that point. Yeah. What would be neat is, okay, here's where I think the story would be cool. What if 2480, when he's that 500 years ahead, that's just when the aliens start showing up, that we start to find alien life and intelligent alien life.
Okay.
And what I would hope, here's the hope is, we have come a long way to where we have solved a lot of the issues. Yeah. And now we're able to go out and let's aspire. We're the ones that are helping people reach their level of maturity. Yeah. So instead of us all just fight of the week, but I guess what's the antagonist?
Well, I was thinking if you bring a little Demolition Man, then maybe you have it be that everybody has become so, like, almost to a Wall-E level, has become so passive or so that when conflict comes in this young, hungry group of aliens or whatever who are out to conquer, they don't know what to do. And so you have now Buck coming in from the Cold War, 1985, sort of like ready to rumble, and he can maybe teach them a little bit of that Red Dawn Footloose energy to sort of get people up and moving.
And I totally agree. And what I would add is I think one of the things that he has to bring is maybe because the struggle has, okay, I'm going to make some assumptions here, that if society were to get to a point where a lot of things are corrected, the struggle has gone back. The struggle has disappeared. Yeah. As a result, humor is not as prevalent. Okay. Because people don't even know what humor is. Because humor is this mechanism that allows us to get through adversity in many ways. And as a result, humor is different. So now, and not that it's dumbed down. Again, I'll use the Idiocracy like example. Not that it's that, hey, we've just become more refined where we forgot how to laugh and we forgot how to how a good joke works and how it lands, and the humor that gets us into relationships and through arguments, which may end up happening because of the alien life that we're now encountering. Yeah.
Okay. All right. I like it. Unfortunately, we do not have the rights to Buck, so we can't go any farther than that. So they kind of get a story.
When do those run out?
That's a good question. I don't know. I wonder if that's still tied up, or if it's going to be like Superman and Batman, which are fast approaching. But let's see if we can make up a story that will compete or even destroy the Buck Rogers reboot. All right. So this is a rare thing. I actually was thinking, since we are actually in the same room together.
Yes.
You get to roll the die.
Oh.
So I have a beautiful metal 6-sided die, and that will tell us what our format is going to be.
This die has heft.
Yeah, it does. And I think you probably even pick it up on the microphone, too.
So here we go.
Oh, yeah. Look at that.
That's nice.
Ooh, 3. That's interesting. 3. It's an audio drama.
Oh.
This is the first time this has ever come up.
Okay.
So this is sort of more of my wheelhouse. But so this is going to be something audio form. The nice thing about that is there's no budget.
Nice.
So you can have worlds colliding and stuff too. You just have to have somebody on microphone describing what's happening.
Got it.
I just listened to one I discovered because recently we celebrated Independence Day. Mm-hmm. It turns out I watched Independence Day, the movie, which still holds up.
Oh.
I did not know this, but at the same time period, there actually was a official audio drama of Independence Day called Independence Day UK.
Wait, what?
It is a full audio drama about what was happening in England while the events of Independence Day were going on. And it is done as a BBC One War of the World style radio broadcast.
Wait.
It's I just discovered it and I'm listening to it. It is phenomenal because it was done by the BBC. They get to say stuff like BBC One. And so they have like their DJs are and their people are reporting on the events of the alien attack while it's happening. So they're telling all the stuff that we see in the movie. They're describing it to their listeners and how like London is covered by this giant shadow because the ship goes over there and then
gets destroyed.
Yeah, they talk about getting the royal family out and doing all that kind of stuff.
Wait, where's this at? Where do you get this at?
You can find it on YouTube. It is not commercially available anywhere else. I would send you there. But yeah, you can if you look up Independence Day UK and then a radio drama or a radio play or whatever. It's like an hour long.
That's
and
amazing.
It's extremely well put together, and it is technically in canon.
Produced at the time the movie came out.
At the time the movie came out, it is an official tie-in. So they use like the sort of signal that like David finds on the thing, that sort of recurring signal that's the countdown signal. They actually have that sound effect in it. So like this is not like a fan created thing, which nothing against that, but this was an official thing that was tied in. It was licensed by the company. So weird aside.
Yeah.
So, but just to give you an idea of like audio drama, you can sort of aim for the skies. Okay. So then we're going to do our genres then. So I'm giving you the 20-sided die now.
Here we go.
So we're going to have 2 genres. So our first genre is 7, which is a mystery. Okay. Very nice.
Okay.
All right. And our second genre is another 7. Well, I'll let you re-roll that one. Lucky 7. We don't need a mystery. A mystery about mysteries. An 8. Okay. That is a romantic comedy. All right. So a audio drama, romantic comedy, mystery.
Okay.
So as we're talking about the 80s, the first thing that comes to mind for me is Heart to Heart.
Oh!
So maybe it could either be a husband and wife or husband or wife and wife mystery solvers.
Sure.
Or, even do like the... what is the Thin Man? They were Nick and Nora, who were solving mysteries. So you could do that way, or you could have it be like the Thrill of the Chase. Like you could have it be like the Batman Catwoman thing of like it's they're ones on different sides of the wall.
What if it's all Max? What if it's the guy who makes sure that everything's all right? This is Jonathan on.
And when they met, it was murder.
She's gorgeous. I love that show so much. Wait, okay, that's brilliant. Love it. Love Heart to Heart, and love it for this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, so I mean, we stick 80s. Like, do you want to actually have it be in the 80s, or do you want to have it be more modern? It could actually.
No, modern. I like it modern.
We can have it be in any.
No. I would like because the 80s is done.
Okay.
No, let's do it. Something with modern. I love the idea of a married couple.
Okay. You want to have them already together? I mean, it's like, do they already met? Are they together? Like Heart to Heart was that way,
right?
Or is it like this is about them coming together? Like this is about them meeting and stuff, and it ends. First season ends with the wedding or whatever. Are we doing a Sam and Diane? I guess. No. Since we seem to be stuck in the 80s.
No, you know what? I like the idea.
No,
actually, I like the idea of them already together.
Okay,
they're already married.
Okay,
and the show works through that relationship, and we're going to assume that it is a tight, well cared for relationship. Yeah. But throughout the show, throughout the drama, or I'm saying drama, the audio drama, throughout it, there are always these flashbacks or throwbacks to things when they were dating.
Okay.
So there is something they pick up.
I like that.
So that you constantly get the story of why they're able to do the thing they're doing, why they're able to solve it, get through whatever it is. And it's because of something that they learned about each other they went through during their courtship.
Oh, that's really good.
I like that.
Yeah, and suddenly they get to a situation where they need to be able to, like, I don't know, sword fight or whatever, and then they flash back to when they were taking fencing lessons or whatever, any type of situation where it's like, how in the world did you know how to, like, do a smuggler's turn on a car? Like, that was
there you go. And there needs to be the little bit of the flashback out. Yes, exactly.
All right, nice. So you think this is like just straight up mission? Like, I guess what are they kind of mysteries that they would be solving? Are you thinking high society stuff, like, you know, the problems of the rich and beautiful, or is it? I mean, I it's hard to imagine them as sort of like hanging out a shingle, like, you know, like Rockford or whatever, where they're people are coming and like. I think my wife's cheating on me. Can you take pictures of it? You know, that sort of stuff. I mean, I guess how do mysteries come?
Wait, let's unpack that.
Yeah.
So I don't want to do the whole they're rich and they can do whatever they want and they bump into all these issues whenever they're traveling the world. Okay. But I also don't want like Desperate Housewives, like this is a bad cul-de-sac. Like I don't know what's going on, but I mean, like, don't move into that house because the husband always gets murdered.
Right. The crime statistics for the rest of the thing. And then on one street, it just peaks.
No,
I see what you mean.
Yeah, that would be rough. But you know, you could see though. Well, I mean, look at you know, like shows like modern shows like Murders in the Building. I mean, New York's a big town. Right. A lot happens.
Yeah.
That building sucks. Right. But like you could actually put them in an urban environment.
Yeah.
And a lot of things would happen across a very large space. So actually, one of the nice things, I think one of the neat things about the show would be is exploring how even people who have everyday lives look at the degrees of separation they have amongst their community where, well, no, I work with this person and this person knows this person and that's how I'm connected to them. Yeah. So it might be kind of a neat way to show this web of connectivity, like, you know, that you play a role in a lot of different scenarios that unfold in other people's lives and that, yes, that they're able to help them. And it all ties to things in their past. You know,
that's interesting. I don't know why. Once again, I don't know why this thought occurred to me. But as you're talking about that, I thought about snowbirds. So we live here in Arizona.
Oh wow!
And so we have this thing where, because the weather in Arizona from I'd say October until about March is gorgeous. Mm-hmm. It's 80 degrees, blue skies, sunshine all the time. We don't talk about the weather the rest of the time. Not with people who aren't from here.
No, definitely not.
But that means that the people who live in Minnesota and North Dakota and stuff too, they all come down for that period of time. And so we have a massive influx of different license plates that suddenly appear and they don't know how to work our traffic stuff too in there. So there's a big thing of snowbirds. I think of these two of like, they're in two different communities. So at different times of year, you have a sort of a different group that you're dealing with. I don't know exactly how we add that into the mystery thing, but like that is something I've never really seen before.
Wait, you've got three. You could choose three different paths in this, which that's brilliant. One, have them be based in Arizona, in Phoenix.
Sure.
The snowbirds come in, and now they have all this other stuff.
Problems with
they bring their problems, or they try to start a new sheet, you know, a new version of their lives because they're different from here.
Yeah.
Or have them be the snowbird, which I love that, but might be more interesting. They're the ones left behind in Minnesota when the snowbirds leave.
Yeah.
And that's when chaos runs afoot.
Right. Because there's a lot less people around, and then so that means there's less eyes watching you, and maybe that's when you get up to your
and maybe
crimes
people
and
go, you know, it's good pickings up in Minnesota.
Yeah. Ooh, that's interesting
during the winter.
Yeah, the idea of like, or even doing the flip side of it of having it be like they're in Vail. But during the summer when there's no snow,
you
know that so like the tourist like the tourist town that empties out.
Yes,
and so they're like if we have them as sort of middle income or low, they can't travel, but they live in a place that gets invaded by a ton of people and then leave. And so you have the two different times a year of like 1,000 people, like Daytona Beach, 1,000 crazy people around and bikers and stuff too, and then suddenly it's a ghost town.
There's nobody.
Yeah.
Okay, and there's your seasons of the show.
Yeah. Because
your seasons could just flip to different
Yeah.
couples. And now you're talking about the intricacies of certain geographic areas.
Yeah. Especially if you have in a place like that problems roll into town all the time.
Yes.
You know, and people trying to get away. Or stuck.
I love it. No, I love the idea that there are secrets people have.
Yeah.
That they want to escape from.
Yeah.
And all the complications that come from that.
Yeah, that's really good.
Okay.
So I guess let's talk about our couple then. Mm-hmm. What do you think? I think are they young? Are they middle aged? Are they old? Like where do you kind of see them as being?
I would like to see them as middle-aged.
Okay.
Because that's us.
Okay.
And I think that would be great. And I think it would constantly be in that part of their life.
Yeah.
Not because they don't want to go too old.
All right. So did they have kids, or are they just
they
a
probably have
childless
kids.
couple?
Oh yeah,
and they're gone.
No, they're gone, and
They're
that's
empty nesters.
No, and you have to have that because then there are kids who are probably either early adults, young adults,
Yeah.
or getting there.
Yeah.
Their calamities always call in during inopportune moments of the things that happen, or they need to rely on their help for certain things.
Yeah.
So, and I love that whole in the audio drama. I love that you'll have that interaction.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Especially you could have them you could literally be listening in on their telephone calls,
exactly,
or listening on their FaceTime calls or whatever. Yeah, that's really good. I like that.
And that's never ending. You have ultimate flexibility.
So this would be like how they are dealing with the empty nest.
Correct.
Is like they have now decided to start solving crimes.
Solving problems. Yeah. crimes. Well,
mysteries. So like whatever, that essentially they have become, they not only are trouble magnets, but they put themselves in places where they know it. So like this is their version of charity.
Correct.
Rather than just going and, sorting through the stuff at Goodwill or whatever, they are actually like getting involved in lives and trying to help people, even though they are not detectives. They are not trained in any of this kind of stuff. They just sort of fumble their way through.
Wouldn't this be funny if the whole impetus for this is that they got sick of not having anything good to watch on all their streaming services?
Yeah.
And they went, that's it.
Yeah.
We got to get out more.
Right.
And then the whole thing was, well, this is better than any show we've ever watched on Netflix. I mean, look at this.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah. That they got to the end of Netflix.
And they're like, okay,
that's
we're
it.
done.
We've seen it all.
We got to do something else.
Exactly. They got tired of, they read everything. And so they decided that they wanted to have their own adventures rather than watching other people do it.
I love it.
Before it gets too far. Yeah, that's really good. Do you have we've talked about a couple different locations. So do you have a specific location now that you're sort of zeroing in on? Like, do you see palm trees? Do you see pine trees? Like, what do you see as sort of like the backdrop of all these mysteries?
Well, I love Arizona because again, there's a lot to tell there.
Yeah.
So I love Arizona. I love maybe like a spring break town. So like Miami Beach or something like that. But then I think you've got something really cool to tell in a Milwaukee.
Yeah.
Like a smaller town that maybe a lot of people aren't that familiar with. Like the new Buffalo. Apologies to anyone who were from Buffalo, but I mean, we gotta go a little different and stuff. So like that, I would think there's probably a couple of cool Midwest towns. Or I like what you said about the ski, Aspen.
Yeah.
Maybe like one of the newer I've been to the Wisconsin Dells numerous times, which is another sort of, low end Orlando kind of thing. Sorry to all the people that from there, but you know what's up, Wisconsin Dells. And the same kind of thing, like in the off season, like there's nothing to do. So that you have all of like the backdrop of like the roller coasters that aren't going, and the carousels that are standing still, and that, like all the fun trapping and stuff too, that's all shut down because like the locals don't get to enjoy any of that. Yeah.
Yeah. I like that sort of, it has a nice little, what you have, what you don't have sort of vibe to it.
And then the twist season would be like Reno.
Oh, yeah.
Where people would go, well, these are the people who are like, yeah, we don't want to put up with Vegas anymore. So we go to Reno for a totally different reason we're here. And then,
yeah, I think Reno 911 kind of has Reno.
Oh, yeah, Laughlin. Can we do Laughlin?
There was Viva Laughlin. So
wait, what?
You don't know Viva Laughlin? So there's another in the strange career of one Mr. Hugh Jackman. He did one season of television called Viva Laughlin. Where he was like a song and dance man who also solved crimes. It was not very good.
Okay, then we'll set a season in Austin.
Okay,
during
Austin,
South by Southwest.
Oh, that's interesting.
And when everybody comes in that whole week, there's like a mystery every day.
Austin is really good because Austin is. You have multiple cultures overlapping there.
Totally.
Not only obviously it's really near Mexico, so you have a strong Hispanic population, but you have the cowboys, you have the yeehaw kind of thing, and you have a vibrant art scene on top, and plus spring break and all that stuff too. Oh yeah. Austin's really good. I actually would like to have them not be from Austin and coming into this as sort of like what is this town? have them be from some boring town in the Midwest too, and even their kids are like, we were raised in middle of Iowa. And now we move out, and now you move to this huge cultural area?
Well, isn't that funny, too? Because to me, and I've never been there, but I've seen enough, where I think somebody who, again, I hate to pick on Milwaukee, but let's say you're from, Minnesota somewhere, and again, I hate to pick on Minnesota, and you say, we're going to go to Austin, Texas. And there are people who probably get there and go, this is Texas?
Yeah, right.
Wait.
Yeah.
What is this?
Yeah.
Because that's not
I had that feeling when I went to San Antonio too, where I was because there's parts of it that are extremely Texas, and then you sort of go down a different road and go, whoa,
what is this?
Like this is, the culture and the arts and and theater and stuff too, is crazy. And
not
then then there's then across the street is just boot store after boot store after boot store. It's a fascinating microcosm. I like that a lot. Okay, so Austin. That sort of covers all of our bases. Okay, so they are a middle-aged couple. Then what did they do then before they do? If we have it be that they're not having to pay money, they don't have to work a job to pay their rent. Okay. Then somehow they came into money at some point. Maybe tech, we do some kind of a thing that they cashed out at the right time. And then they just have the money that makes money. So it's not a lot, but it's enough that they don't have to go and punch a clock. They can't pay anybody's mortgage off.
Right.
But they also don't have to worry about, the constant threat of being evicted, that kind of stuff. So we sort of get rid of the money problems with them, but it's not enough that they can solve anybody else's problems.
First of all, I like the idea that, and this would not be far off from the truth. They probably had a house. Maybe they had 4 or 5 kids. They had a big house. They sold the house. They downsized.
Yeah.
And they really downsized.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
like a bungalow kind of thing.
They actually do have cash.
Yeah. Right.
So there's that. So
yeah. So they're house rich.
Yes, they're house rich. It's reasonable.
Yeah.
It's not.
The area boomed
totally.
And then they had a giant house that they then sold off when they bought it for $75,000 or whatever. They sold it for $6 million or whatever.
Which is actually possible.
Right. Exactly.
So they have that because I don't want to they didn't win the lottery.
Right. Exactly. Yeah. I don't want to have it be that they're just they're absolutely rolling it, and I don't want to have ever in a situation where they're in a thing where they could just write them a check and this would solve the problem.
Right.
I mean, I think once again another dead television show. There's a television called The Millionaire. That was literally his thing. Is he would fly from town to town and try and solve people's problems with money. I was nobody can relate to this.
Yeah, it's only Mr. Beast now.
Right.
That's it. It's only,
right. Yeah, but you got to jump through some hoops.
That's what you got to do. All right. So and I do like that idea that it isn't. They have to be crafty.
Yes.
And they have to be somewhat work within some sort of constraint. But I also like the idea that one of them should have been a school teacher.
Yeah. That's good. I was thinking it'd be interesting to have him as this was the stay-at-home dad.
Yes,
because we don't see that a lot. So the idea is that he had whatever job it was, hated it.
Sure.
And then when the time came, it was sort of I would just rather stay home. I would rather do, and so he was the one who was doing all the stuff with the kids, the wife was doing whatever pressure. So I guess that's that question. I don't know what would she have been, because a teacher would not be able to support both of them. But I also don't want to have her be a lawyer or a cop or
have her be C-suite. Have her be she had a really cushy job.
Yeah,
in some corporate thing that she clicked on and she did all this, but then you still have to have the character of him being crafty with people and dealing with everyday occurrences.
Right.
She's the more astute, being able to deal with people of a higher level or different socioeconomic situations.
Right, so he's good with people. She's good with paper.
Yes, there you go.
So she could. So you have her as or maybe not hacker, but at least that she could when she looks through documents, she knows what she's looking for. And he's more of the, as we were talking about before, off microphone, the Axel Foley type of he's just really good being sincere with people. So it's not that he's a con man. It's that he's genuinely interested in people and they don't know how to take that.
Yes. There you go. Yeah.
And also he's been shut at home with kids for this whole time. And so he's just
he may be a little over the top. He may be a little bit over the norm.
A little bit much.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So a little bit. Yeah. As it comes out a little too strong in a lot of cases where they're okay, honey. All right. Let's pull it back a bit.
I love it. I love that. And I love that switch of the role again, thinking of Heart to Heart, where this is turning those upside down. Love it.
Okay. So then this would just be every episode kind of being gradual things just keep getting more complicated and weird. Like it starts out as lost cat and then turns into, by the end of it, it's like they brought down a drug ring or something. Like it's yeah. Or is it just sort of like they're the ones who, like, as opposed to like, I'm sorry, I don't have the bandwidth for this. They're like, we have the bandwidth. Like, like when someone talks about, I just can't get ahead on this thing. They're like, oh, let us do it. And then so like suddenly house sitting becomes home invasion, becomes like, like a gang of local jewel thieves. And it's like everything sort of starts from, no, we actually like the people who absolutely have the time and will absolutely do that thing for you, and it just turns into.
That's what we're here for.
Yeah,
exactly. That's the line. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. Yeah, exactly. It's like, are you sure that you can take care of the dogs? Like they're not going to be too much trouble. No, that's what we're here for. Yeah.
That's the title. That's what we're here for.
That's what we're here for. Yeah. Oh, that is pretty good.
That's literally the title.
Oh, that's really good. Oh, that would be really good. Even the idea that literally is like the quote unquote service they provide. Like,
wow.
Right?
Yes.
Like that, they have it as their thing. Like that's their business card or whatever. Like it starts out as just sort of a TaskRabbit-y kind of thing of like, yeah, whatever you need to do, we'll do it. And then it just becomes it spirals out of control, but basically they just go too far and then end up causing a problem and then fixing it and
all of that. Okay, wait, I love that idea. Really purpose.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
Yeah, it's them finding a purpose
and helping other people.
Yes, right. And so like this is that as let's say they've sort of been in their own little microcosm this entire time. Like their solar system was them and their children, and now the children have gone out, and so now they're sort of now expanding their horizons outwards, and so now they're connecting with everything else as opposed to being a closed system. Now they're opening.
So they do need. Now, I'm going to throw this in here.
Yeah.
They need to have their max. They need to have someone.
Oh, yeah.
So there is either.
That's a good thought.
One of them has a sibling.
Okay.
That they both
that's good.
And
maybe that's what brought them to Austin.
There you go. But the sibling. But the sibling has to be like somewhere else. Like the sibling's in Alaska. And every once in a while, they need help.
Oh.
And they're like, yo, Larry.
Yeah.
Call Larry. Larry, you got to help us with this. What do we do?
Yeah.
And you don't want to use it I don't want it to be too much like a sonic screwdriver.
Right.
But there's that little thing that somehow will connect the dots across some of the episodes.
Yeah.
So there'll be a little bit of that.
Okay. I like that. Are we going okay. So who is their young person Sherpa? They need someone who's going to have to help them navigate through the weird hipster, keep Austin weird kind of thing. So they need somebody who's going to
that's
be
what they call
a local.
Well, no, you mean like, they have to have somebody that
like a local guy. Like who's their local weirdo that they find that is their person on the street that's going to help them. Like I would think they have to be young and like they're sort of tattooed, pierced. Artsy,
I know exactly
weird.
What you mean,
like, what I'm talking about.
Yes.
But charming,
yes.
and also maybe a little bit like much, like really intense about whatever they're. I'm into static music right now. Like what's static music? Oh, it's like when you like play this horrible sound and like no, can't you hear the sounds, man?
So it's got to be the friend from one of their kids from college.
Oh, it's really
like
good.
One of their kids' college roommates.
It's their Maynard G. Krebs. It's their Eddie Haskell. It's the one who just like loved the parent. Like was friends with the kid.
They spent a spring break at the house, coming home with their kid.
They were friends with the kid, but loved the parent so much that now it's just like you don't have to like you don't have to. You can spend time with your other people. Like no, I just like hanging out with you.
You guys are the best.
So much cooler than my mom.
That's it. No, that's totally works. Oh, okay. Love it.
That's really good. Okay. So then same thing I asked with Buck Rogers. Do you think it's solve an episode, in 35 minutes or 45 minutes or whatever, how long we're going to have an episode be, and that's it? Or is there also like a central mystery for like a season that they're sort of working on bits of it along the way, like episode of the week, but also an arc over the thing? Or do you see that it's just one and done?
No, I think it's one and done, but I think you can absolutely weave a story throughout that. So maybe, just by chance, a few of their stories connect. So whatever it is. I mean, we're going to say like the diamond heist or some other thing that somehow connects in ways, and they start to pick up on the clues. And then at some point, the people that they have ironically been like thwarting, now it turns on them, and now the stakes raise. Right. So in your season, now they've got to watch out. Yeah. They're not just there to help.
And I like the idea that we keep it. I guess PG-13 crime like that. So like I don't want to have a Cabot Cove had a lot of corpses. That was Murder, She Wrote. Like, I don't need it to be a murder every single time. No, but I also don't want to get into they all cross paths with Walter White. It's like there's sort of I feel like there's this nice mid range we could get into that's like above sort of like petty crime, but below murder or drug use. It's like right in the middle. So. I'm
more concerned. How many F-bombs do you get in PG-13?
Well, it's audio drama, so technically we can do anything, but once you start to swear, then you start losing markets. There are certain segments that will not allow it to be on there. So we could bleep. We could do like the Brooklyn Nine-Nine thing, and we could just I would bleep like every time that someone says something.
And at one point, because there's got to be that tension. Yeah. Because it's not all peaches and cream. Yeah. Like there's tension, and that I would like to hear at least one tirade.
Okay.
And not a mean tirade. Yeah. A comical tirade.
I see the husband as being sort of the Ted Lasso. Oh yeah, jovial, nice guy, all that kind of stuff. Never really lose temper. And I see the wife as being much more like
Rebecca
would be the one who would don't she's fine, and then until you get to a certain point, and then it's like then she goes off. Yes, she's the more of the not hair trigger, but she's the one that when build up is going to blow.
Love it.
Yeah, I like that a lot. Okay, so this is a little more esoteric. So. In audio drama, you have a couple of different ways you can approach this. You can either have it be that essentially the microphone is just listening in. Like they're like you just door opens, they walk in, they do a scene, that kind of stuff too. Or you could have it be that they are doing a podcast and they're telling the story. Like you literally can have it's a husband and wife who have a podcast, and that's how they do it, and they're telling you that what happened. And you can even sort of do that as the framing device of let's tell you about what happened this week. It all started with, this parrot that wouldn't stop and then, then you go in.
Yeah, no, I don't want them. It's all not being told.
Right.
No, I like that.
But you have that you have it still be that that you're listener, you're listening into the two of them literally doing a podcast where they're talking back and forth about this stuff. And you can even have them interjecting then. That's not what happened. You can even do revision, that kind of stuff.
Little Arrested Development.
Yeah, exactly.
Where's the narrator?
Yeah, but they're narrating the story themselves too. And so they even it can they do. That's not exactly how that happened. You could sort of do the scene again with just a little bit of twist. That kind of thing. Okay. All right. So, but it's either that, or you could have it be that they're literally just, like I do swashbuckling, which is, radio drama style. Sure. Drop page, like that sort of, straight on, and it's much more. It's more just where
correct.
That kind of straight up kind of thing. Okay, all right. So, but sort of the hybrid.
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, I like that because then I would hope one of the things that come out of the show is a really good healthy marriage. Right?
Yeah, right.
That is then part of that, and that gives you an opportunity to create little funny anecdotes about, we were in this situation. It sucked and I lost it, but you were right. And it worked out. You'll have a lot of those kind
because because when the episode starts, that whatever we're about to hear has already happened to them. Right. So for them, it's past. Exactly. So then it can be a little bit more like you really did not help us in that situation. Like, what are you talking about? Like, we'll get there,
And then you do the situation and then it comes back with,
yeah, fair enough. Yeah,
you're totally right.
So the idea is that I
made mistakes.
The podcast itself is actually them telling a story, but we get to hear the dramatized version, like the real life version. So in essentially in the story, they're not recording anything. Like we're not having it because there are those podcasts too where it's sort of like the idea is that we're running from the police right now. Like that. Yeah. Okay. No. All right. So we have it just sort of there's an in studio piece, then there's a real life thing, and then back to the studio.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah,
okay.
that makes sense.
Okay,
Totally.
all right, cool.
Oh,
Wow,
yeah.
that was easy. I thought we'd have to
No, I
like,
love it. There is a small part of this show
Yeah.
that has to take a page from Riverdale.
Oh,
And it has to be
interesting.
just
Okay.
in terms of the mystery.
Okay. Yeah.
So where things just get really upside down.
Yeah.
And not all the sex and
Right, exactly,
and
yeah.
and the really ridiculous violence.
And no superheroes, no magic drugs, no time travel.
not the
Not that far.
cherries, maple syrup forest. No, we're not doing that.
Even like we're gonna see the exit for Twin Peaks, and we're gonna leave
there
before
we go.
that. We're gonna leave before.
That's exactly.
We're not gonna
That's
go
exactly
that far. We're gonna go a little bit before that. Even. The sign goes Twin Peaks and then also says Sunnydale, and we're like, no, we're going to get off before any of those things. We're going to stay right in this sort of this weird adjacent. So just that I like the idea of eccentricity and not like full on.
Totally agreed. And great when you have that villain of the week and mystery of the week, then you have this great revolving door of voices that can come in.
Right, exactly.
And have a
And
blast.
you don't have to do the DreamWorks stunt casting. You can just have whoever is great for the role.
Exactly.
You have your main people who are ready to go. All right, I love it. All right, so it's called.
That's why we're here.
That's why we're here. That's perfect. I love it.
That's why we're
so much. This is one of the times in the show that I regret the format of my show because now I want to make this show.
Wait, I got to tell you, when that came up in the conversation, I'm like,
honestly, wow. Okay, that's really good, and that actually could be even a television series too. It doesn't even have to be a show. So, all right. Unfortunately, the time that now, usually with a joy in my heart, but now with a heavy heart, I have to say, the idea is now yours, listeners, because part of the premise of the show, and sometimes I have hoisted by my own petard. This idea is now yours. We are giving it up to anyone. So anyone who wants it, it is yours to take and do whatever you want with. We are releasing the idea for this amazing new audio drama under Creative Commons attribution. Do whatever you want with it. Make it a television show. Make it a movie. Make it an audio drama. All we ask is that you link it back to us so that we can hear or see whatever it is that you have come up with. Feel free to write a pilot and put it up on AO3, whatever you want. We're happy to do it. The idea is all yours. So once again, I had no idea where we would go, where we would end up. Last time you took us down into the 1,000 Acre Woods. This time we ended up in Austin, Texas to this amazing couple who's just going to help people straighten their lives out. And I couldn't be happier.
That's why we're here. So I was waiting. I was like, I just need there it is.
Well, the stories won't write themselves, so back into the world we must go. Thank you for stopping by. If you're in this part of the world again, there will always be a place for you here at the Storywell. Now, go tell your story.